Hey, just out here in the man cave, just kind of dinking around this morning before I go get ready for work. And I thought, turkey season's right around the corner. I mean, within a couple weeks. Some states have already started. Maybe you've started. But turkey hunting is one of them sports where you either love it or you hate it. But if you're just looking for something to do, to fill the time between, duck season and fishing or deer season and fishing or whatever it is you do, I think turkey hunting's a great opportunity for you to get out there and enjoy the outdoors and enjoy the spring. And it's an awesome way to introduce the youngsters to the outdoors. My kids love turkey hunting. They love hunting in general. They love fishing, all those things. So, like I said, thought we'd sit down and just kind of put together a little video here on the basics of turkey hunting. What I feel you have to have in order to go out and be successful in the woods, or at least help you be more successful. If you're not a turkey hunter, or you've never done it before, or you're just wanting to get into it, maybe to help get some youngsters into it. It can be daunting thinking about all the things you need. You look at the ads on TV and you got to get this and this call and this call and this vest or this special type of camo. I'm here to tell you it's really not expensive. And you can do it with just a few things. So we'll get started here, and I'll kind of go through what I think you have to have, and I might even throw in some things that I like to have just as extras. So yeah, stick with us here. So right off the bat, you're gonna need camouflage. Turkeys have super good eyesight, and they can pick you out from a long ways away. So, and then on top of that, their instinct is to just run. It's not to hang out and check it out. It's not to investigate anymore. It's just to run. So, you don't need any special leafy camo. You don't need any expensive camo. You can use just any old camo you got. If you're a deer hunter, that camo works just fine. But if you want to get into it and you want to buy, if you don't have any lightweight camo, then there's nothing wrong with going to Walmart and buying their springtime lightweight camo. It's usually a little greener, and by late season that's great, and it doesn't matter anyway. Like I said, just be concealed, but be concealed head to toe. Have a hat on to keep the sunshine off your eyes, not necessarily for you, but so it doesn't light up your eyes. And then wear a face mask of some sort. This is just a cheap one I've had for years, and it just pulls over my head and covers my face, and then gloves. Make sure your hands are covered, because they're going to be probably what's moving the most while you're sitting there doing your calls or getting ready for your shot and things like that. So just your basic camo will work out great. So the next, what we'll have is you're gonna want to have some kind of call to be able to talk to those birds. And I've harvested my fair share of turkeys where I just happened to be in the right spot, and when they flew down in front of me, and I didn't have to make any noises on a call. And you can absolutely be successful that way. But to kind of tip the scales in your way a little bit, it's nice to have some sort of call just to react with the birds. And I think if as a beginner, I would get myself either a box call or a slate call. I think they're probably the easiest to learn on. Right here I have the Quaker Boy Grand Old Master, and this is an old call. I think I've had this one probably at least 10 years, and it still runs great. These things, if you take care of them, you buy decent calls, they're not going to wear out. And this thing, I was kind of in that position where I didn't turkey hunt, wanted to get into it, bought a cheap call, and bought an easy one to use. So, like I said, if you take care of these things, they're going to work out great. And, if you're going to buy a box call, there's a couple different varieties. This is just your cut of the mill, just regular box call. And put a little bit of chalk on it. You can get they make a box call chalk. This is actually sidewalk chalk, and it works out great. It's just to keep it dry, keep it conditioned, just a light coat there and right there, and you're in business. And the purpose for that is, these mornings when we're turkey hunting, they're damp, and when this call gets damp, it doesn't run. It doesn't work at all. So something to think about there. But just real easy call to work. It takes just a few seconds to learn. You know, practice with it, and you'll have it mastered in no time. Another box call I have is it's a Quaker Boy again. It's from the Mossy Oak Turkey Thugs. This one's called Little Big Time, and it's waterproof, so I don't have to put any chalk on this one. It's got some kind of coating right here. I don't remember what they called it, but it's right here and it's right here. So this call can get wet, it can be raining, it can just be, I can set it down in the dewy grass and this call's still going to work. And they also have a little bit different sound. This one's a little higher pitched and kind of sharper action there. But, yep. So, box call, real quick, real simple. No, it doesn't take much to learn how to run these. Another option I think a beginner would have would be, you know, the old pot calls, or if you want to call it a slate call, and make them in glass as well. But again, very inexpensive. Don't have to go out and buy the $200 pot collar or anything like that, but just super inexpensive. This one's a Primos Old Betsy. Again, I think I got this one year 2 of turkey hunting, and it was just, I thought, well, we'll try a pot call, and I was successful with it as well. Just takes a little bit of practice. You know, get yourself a piece of Scotch-Brite, scuff up your call a little bit. Doesn't take much, and then you know, just throw everything on the floor here. But when you buy these pot calls, they'll probably come with, you know, typically you'll buy some kind of kit or whatever, and they'll come with a striker. And this one actually came with this call. And all the striker does is you just, however you scratch it on this surface, and this is a slate surface, that vibration makes that noise. And again, something very, very simple to learn. They come with instructions on the back of the label, and I mean, this is just drawing pictures. If you're getting into it a little bit more, you can buy different strikers. This one's a Rosewood by HS Strut, and just provides a little bit different sound. This is a carbon one, so nothing crazy. I think you can get a package of 3 different strikers, you know, for just probably under 20 bucks. But again, this is a call that if it gets any moisture on it, you drop it in the wet grass, a little bit of sprinkle in the air, it slows this call down. That water gets on that slate and your striker starts to slip. So that's why you carry the Scotch-Brite, scuff it back up. Same thing with the glass call, and this one's from Hunter Specialties. But run a carbon striker on it. Oh, should have scuffed it. But, you know, something simple, very quick and easy to learn. They all have their different pitches, all have their different sounds. That's personal preference. You know, some guys got enough calls to talk to every turkey in the woods, and I have had it where this call they're not responding to, but they're responding to this one. But, you know, my only main reason for having these is this one's a little bit louder. I can talk to them further away. As they get in close, I can get real quiet on a slate call. So that, to me, would be what I'd have for calls. If I was just getting into turkey hunting, I would get a box call again, just like I did, or I would pick up a slate call and a striker, and I would get to work. So far we've got camo, we've got call, and now we've got to move on. And do you need decoys? You know, I don't think you have to have a decoy. There's thousands of turkeys killed every year without the use of decoys. I've done it. I'm sure you talk to any, you know, guy that's been turkey hunting long enough, and that we've all harvested turkeys over no decoys. But when you're sitting there and you're running your slate calls or your pot calls and box calls and whatever, you're mimicking the sounds of a hen turkey, and the males are looking and they're walking around and they hear and they think, you know, where's she at? You gotta give them something to look at, and that's a very debated topic amongst the turkey hunting community. Is decoys don't work, and don't hunt without a decoy. So what I would do, my suggestion would be, is to just get yourself at least a hen. And, you know, you can pick these I don't even remember what brand these are. I've had these quite a while. You can pick these. They're made of foam. They're collapsible. They just fold up. You can stick them in your turkey vest. You can just carry them in like this. But they're lightweight, very inexpensive, and you put your stake out, and these things got a little pivot point here, and they just sit there, and they kind of move in the wind maybe, and it's just something visual. You know, that he's out there, he's hearing that hen talking, and I mean, they can pretty well pinpoint where you're at, but now he's got something to look at. And, you know, is it going to work every time? No. Turkeys are designed that the hens go to the males or the toms, and so when they see her, sometimes they'll lock up on you and they're not going to commit. But more times than not, in my experience, they're going to come in, they're going to check it out. So like I said, at least have a hen for sure. But I think these three right here I bought as a pack, and it was very inexpensive. It came with 2 jakes and a hen, and I've run all 3 of them at the same time, and I've run a jake and a hen together, and it works out great. I've done 100 different combinations with these sets of decoys, it seems like, and at one time or another I've harvested a turkey over every combination you could think of, and at one time or another every combination turned a turkey away. So play around with it. There's no set in stone way to set up your decoys, but yeah, just something to play around with. Good. Or again, it's a very inexpensive tool for the trade here. And then last but not least is some kind of seat cushion. So I shouldn't say last but not least, but so you gotta have something to sit on, because you could be stuck there behind a tree or leaning up against a tree or on the edge of a field for a couple hours. I've had turkeys hang up and wander around the field for a long time before they finally come down and committed to what I was doing. And you don't have something super soft to sit on, your tush is gonna get sore, and you're gonna get uncomfortable, and you're gonna be trying to move around, and you're uncomfortable. The more movement you make, the more chances you have of scaring those birds off. So that would be what I would say you definitely want to have, is at least a box call or a slate call. And you can get into diaphragm calls like these. They're quite a bit harder to learn on. They sit in the roof of your mouth, and then with tongue pressure and air pressure, they make the sounds, and you gotta put a lot of time into practice in those. But you know, if it's something you want to try, absolutely, I don't discourage it. I probably have called 85% of my turkeys in with a mouth call. And there's tons of brands out there. You know, HS Drop, Primos, I mean, Quaker Boy's got them, and everything. So, other than that, if you start acquiring a lot of calls, I would maybe look into getting a turkey vest, and this is one I got, real inexpensive. It's got a lot of pockets on it. It's got pockets for my box calls, pockets for shells, pockets for tools and that here and whatnot. A very, very useful tool. And then, yeah, you'd be set. It really doesn't take much to get started in this sport. And with just a little bit of time and practice, I mean, you can go out there with one call and make it happen. So, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, maybe subscribe for us. If you could throw a comment down below if you think there's something I'm missing here. I might put together another video here that gets into all the other stuff I have here. I've acquired a lot of things over the years, but you know, for the most part, you know, sometimes it's easier just to keep it basic. But like I said, if you like the video, you know, please hit the like button, leave a comment below. If you could subscribe for us, that would help. I will try to put a link below to all of these calls I have laying here, and pretty much I'll just put a link to everything I can think of here. That way you guys can take a look, and you'll see the price points and see that it's really not expensive, and it is very easy to get started in this sport. And with just a little bit of practice, I mean, you could have it figured out in a week and be making just the right amount of noise to call a turkey in. So, you know, we appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Stick with us here. We're going to bring some more content to you with fishing coming up and things like that. So hang tight. See you all outdoors.